श्रुति स्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। Okay. And those who have your videos off, you can turn them on. Okay. Rukmini ji. Let us chant from number 3. Shri Bhagavanuvach.
श्री भगवानुवाच
आरुरुक्षोर्मुनेर्योगम्
आरुरुक्षोर्मुनेर्योगम्
कर्मकारणमुच्यते
कर्मकारणमुच्यते
योगारूढस्य तस्यैव
योगारूढस्य तस्यैव
शमः कारणमुच्यते
शमः कारणमुच्यते
यदा हिनेन्द्रियार्थेषु
यदा हिनेन्द्रियार्थेषु
न कर्मस्वनुषज्यते
न कर्मस्वनुषज्यते
सर्वसङ्कल्पसन्न्यासी
सर्वसङ्कल्पसन्न्यासी
योगारूढस्तदोच्यते
योगारूढस्तदोच्यते
उद्धरेदात्मनात्मानम्
उद्धरेदात्मनात्मानं
नात्मानमवसादयेत्
नात्मानमवसादयेत्
आत्मैव ह्यात्मनो बन्धुः
आत्मैव ह्यात्मनो बन्धुः
आत्मैव रिपुरात्मनः
आत्मैव रिपुरात्मनः
बन्धुरात्मात्मनस्तस्य
बन्धुरात्मात्मनस्तस्य
येनात्मैवात्मना जितः
येनात्मैवात्मना जितः
अनात्मनस्तु शत्रुत्वे
अनात्मनस्तु शत्रुत्वे
वर्तेतात्मैव शत्रुवत्
वर्तेतात्मैव शत्रुवत्
जितात्मनः प्रशान्तस्य
जितात्मनः प्रशान्तस्य
परमात्मा समाहितः
परमात्मा समाहितः
शीतोष्ण सुखदुःखेषु
शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु
तथा मानापमानयोः
तथा मानापमानयोः
ज्ञानविज्ञानतृप्तात्मा
ज्ञानविज्ञानतृप्तात्मा
कूटस्थो विजितेन्द्रियः
कूटस्थो विजितेन्द्रियः
युक्त इत्युच्यते योगी
युक्त इत्युच्यते योगी
समलोष्टाश्मकाञ्चनः
समलोष्टाश्मकाञ्चनः
Yeah. So starting from shloka number 7. Shloka number 7 talks about the wise person's response. 7, 8, 9, like that it goes. Response to the world. Okay. And why Krishna is talking about all this? Because this topic is supposed to be dhyana yoga. Then we have not even come to any mention of dhyana in this chapter so far. And so he's saying, in order to do dhyana, your mind must be more or less calm. Then only we can sit and do dhyana. Like that, that's the thinking here. And so if you look, for example, there are 3 or 4 requirements he gives. He is given without giving a bulleted list. We like bullet list, 1, 2, 3, 4. So only then it goes into our head. So those days it looks like they didn't believe in lists and all that. And all they believed in shlokas, and then they get it, And so, I mean, I also like lists. Sometimes we need a list, and otherwise things nothing gets done, And so here, look at this. First thing is balanced mind. Okay, so samahita chittaha. Samatvam. So in 7 itself, we said jitatmanaha prashantasya. Paramatma sama. The person has to be prashanta, balanced mind. Means the mind is not wandering, There might be a lot of things to do. Anxieties might be there, but more or less the person is samahitaha. The person is able to be with oneself. Then look at that. Next. Uddhared atmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet. Atmaiva atmano bandhuhu. Atmaiva ripuratmana. We saw that. Then bandhuratma. Okay, 5 and 6. So first thing that is said is you must have confidence in yourself. Correct? Without using the word self-confidence, you see Atma here refers to the self, obviously. So I must I must learn to take care of myself. Minimum. Minimum. So that love is there, and that appreciation that I must be okay, body, mind, senses. Okay, that self confidence is there. I can do what needs to be done. If I need help, I will take care of. I will seek help. So that self confidence is needed. Okay. Then third one, after having self confidence, then I must put in the necessary effort. Therefore, uddharet, effort. You have to put in your own effort, and all the things are available. All knowledge is available. Teachers are available. Books are available. Google is available. PDF is available. PDF file opening Adobe also is available. So now what? No, I don't have a computer. Okay. Okay. What shall we do now? My computer has crashed. These days, computer crash means life also almost half crash. And so, or phone. Somebody was saying other day, anything we can live without, but without phone, it's a bit difficult to live. Okay, fine. So that is the case. Get a phone. That we're not saying anything. Just do what is to be done. Uddharet. Krishna is saying uddharet, and put in the required effort. That is why if somebody says after studying Bhagavad Gita all these years, the guy comes and says everything is in Bhagavan's hands. Therefore, whether I study or not, it doesn't matter. If he wills, I will get moksha. If he wills, I will be studying, I will be coming to your classes, Guruji. If he doesn't will, then I won't come to your classes. If somebody talks like this, then we will just say salute to him. And then Navaratri is coming. What are your plans? And he travels after that, December, Christmas. We can talk about Christmas, then walk away from that. Correct? So it is very clear here. Hey, we have to. So this is Vidhiling Uddharet means command is given. Krishna is commanding Arjuna here. And so third point is what? Effort, self-effort, out of one's own effort. And prayer is also a very smart way of living. And so include prayer in your effort. Okay. And so it is said, Udyamam sahasam dhairyam buddhi shakti parakramaha shadete yatra vartante devaha tatra devaha sahayakut. Okay. Udyamam sahasam dhairyam. Udyamam effort. Sahasam. Sahasam. Uh, Sahasam means a perseverance. Udyamam sahasam. Perseverance, because you got to keep at it. Dhairyam. Confidence. Buddhi, intellect, use your mind to decide what you have to do. Shakti, come on, get the resources that you need. Okay, don't say I don't have this, I don't have that, I need help, etc. Yeah, if you need help, ask for help. Okay, people are there to help. There are good people in this world. Your neighbor also can help you. Okay, Buddhi, Shakti, Parakrama. Okay, Parakrama. Parakrama means some difficulty comes. Don't sit and say I'm not used, I can't do all these things, etc. Just do. Come on. There are people who have done it and have the attitude of parakramaha. Udyamam sahasam dhairyam buddhi shakti parakramaha. Shadyete yatra vartante devaha tatra sahayakrit. The God will help you, help the person who has these six. Okay, that is what it says. That means what? Even the gods are helpless, that means. Correct? Gods are helpless. The fellow sits down and does nothing. Nobody can do anything. No avatara also can do nothing. Okay. So therefore, there is another way of putting it. There is Guru Kripa, there is Ishvara Kripa, and there is Shastra Kripa. Correct? Three Kripas are there. We need the Kripa of all three. Okay. But then they say, these three Kripas will not be available if Atma Kripa is not there. Atma Kripa is needed. I must Natmanam avasadayet Uddared Atmanatmana. So I must be first normal. I must be practical. I must learn from my parents, brothers, sisters. That's how we all learn. And so all of us are, good at taking care of ourselves. But go a little notch above that. And then So that's pretty obvious there. And then fourth point he mentions this Jitendriyatvam. Look at verse number 7, Jitat Manaha. So wherever you go, you find this. Every other shloka, Krishna keeps bringing this. Keeps bringing this. And I'm reminded of this shloka for Hanuman. Manojavam Maruta Tulya Vegam Jitendriyam. There also Jitendriyam is there. So Buddhimatam Varishtam, etc. There also uses Buddhi. Uses Buddhi. He goes and asks Hanuman to find Sanjeevani in this big mountain. And Hanuman has not studied Ayurveda. Hanuman has not studied all these things. He's not doing a PhD in Yasvyasa. So all the Yasvyasa came later. And therefore, he has to figure out what to do. And so he decided, I'm going to take the whole mountain. Let our Guruji, let our Ayurvedic doctor figure out what he wants. And so, I was thinking, Buddhi, do whatever is the right thing at that time. And so these things were talked about. And then in the 7th shloka, Shitoshna Sukha Dukkeshu Tatha Manapa Manayo. So there he's talking about the wise person's response to what? Response to external situations, which can be opposites, winning, losing, heat, cold, these kinds of things we talk about, praise and insult, those kinds of things we talked about. Then what about 8, shloka number 8 is what we are talking about. Jnana Vijnana Tirthatma Kutasto Vijitendriya Yukta Ityuchyate Yogi Samaloshtasma Kanchana. So this is where we were looking at. We saw, elaborately, we saw Jnana Vijnana Triptatma. We saw that. So Jnanam is Samanya Jnanam, common knowledge about what the Shastram is talking about. So common knowledge about Brahma Vidya, Atma Vidya. And then Vijnanam. Vijnanam is well assimilated knowledge. Aparoksha Jnanam. Jnanam is Paroksha Jnanam. Paroksha means, oh, there is Atma, there is Brahma. And so that Brahma is all pervasive, that Brahma is permanent, that Atma is like that Atma, that Brahma. Well, converting that to this, me, converting idam, that to aham, me, that conversion makes one a vijnani in this verse, in that shloka, differentiating jnanam and vijnanam. We saw all that before. I don't want to repeat that. So we saw jnana vijnana triptatma, the one who has tripti, who's contented by that knowledge is jnana vijnana triptatma. There the word atma refers to mind or buddhi. Then kutastaha, we saw that one who is unmoving like a kutastha, one who is unaffected by any situation. Kutastaha. Then Vijitendriya. Self-mastery. Means mastery of this body, mind and senses. So looking at this body now as an instrument, as opposed to myself. And all our instruments must be sharp. Then in our kitchen you go, a blunt knife. Nothing can ruin your day like a blunt knife. You keep cutting the tomato and then you're still doing this. The tomato is stronger or the knife is stronger, we don't. Like that it is, So that is not of any use at all. And we all, they have here, it's very interesting. Shane. How many of you have heard this word? Yeah, we see 2 or 3 people raising their hand. Shane. So those days we used to see this. I'm very happy there is this person comes. He is the one who sharpens all our knives. He comes in a bicycle and he has this grinding wheel on it. And then he sharps up. All the people come with their knives, big knives, small knives and scissors. I took a year ago, I took a pair of scissors and he sharpened the scissors also. So I was so happy about that. So I saw a video on YouTube how this profession is dying because all the 2 rupees and 5 rupees scissors are coming from China. So like that it is there. So very interesting. So anyway, we have to keep our instrument sharpened, and our body, mind, and senses must be in good shape. So good health and shape, and number two, harmonious operation. Harmonious operation. They all must work together. Like in the members of a family. Functional family means everybody is sees eye to eye, and with on things, and then they do things which are beneficial to the family. And so it's otherwise everybody goes in a different direction, and we wonder what is this family, does it really help to have a family like this? And so that harmonious working of all these sense organs in the body and the mind, okay, those two are important. That's referred to by this Vijitendriyaha, one who has that capacity, one who has gained that capacity. Yuktaha iti uchyate, yogi. Okay, yogi. So yogi means we should not get carried away. So again, put it in the context of this Bhagavad Gita, and so the one yuktaha, again same thing. Yuktaha, one who is together, one who has that harmonious working of all the body, mind, and senses. That person is a yuktaha, one who has mastered himself, herself, and that person is called a yogi. Again, he's using the word yogi. Krishna used it before also, and that composed person is called a yogi. Okay, then what? Then this word is there. Samalostasma kanchana. We need to spend a little time on this. The literal meaning of this is what? Loshtaha. Loshtaha means a mud, sand, a bunch of clay. It's called loshtaha. Then ashma. Ashma is a stone. And then kanchana. Kanchana means gold. Okay. Samaha. One who sees these three equally. That person, a wise person, apparently sees all these three equally. We now have a serious problem with this thing. That means this person considers gold to be same as stone, and so he can look at a gold slab and look at it as a concrete slab, and look at concrete slab as a gold slab. That can be a serious problem. Now, for people in Saudi Arabia, the royal princess and all, yeah, gold, they don't use porcelain in their bathrooms. They use gold. Okay, but we can't invoke them here. We have to talk about the majority of the people in this world, and for them, gold and stone are very different. And so, what is the meaning of this? Very interesting. And it is, what is identical? When we say the vision of a jnani is that the person looks at these things, this mud and stone and gold identical, what we mean is identical with respect to the security these things give. Security. Okay. Not that he cannot recognize gold as gold, he cannot recognize stone as stone. If there is a recognition problem, then we have to say, I think this man has cataract, very advanced cataract. You need to get surgery done. Let's go to the hospital. That's what we have to tell this fellow. He's not a jnani. And therefore, Samaloshtaspa Kanchanaha refers to the security, the vision of the person. What kind of security? Can any of this give me more security than the other? You have to ask this question. We have to ask this question. No, Guruji, that's not true. People invest in gold, and gold is better because it does not lose value like all the other things. Real estate also, we have seen it. We thought it was real, but now we have realized it is unreal, and so that also is losing its shine. And I don't know what to do. So I've invested in gold, and So what to do? We have to seriously sit and think about it. We have to spend, in fact, we have to do dhyanam on this topic itself. How is it that gold, Shastram says gold cannot give you security? This we have to really spend time thinking about. And so gold, see, if you say gold gives security, suppose somebody has gold bars in his home, in their home. So somewhere he's going, so he trusts the neighbor very much. And so he doesn't want to leave the gold bars in his house because he's going somewhere. He's going to lock the door. That means what? Person is secure or insecure? Gold is making him insecure or secure? Insecurity is there because I have to protect gold now. Gold was supposed to protect me, correct? That's why I got gold. Now who is protecting whom? I have to protect that gold, and then gives it to the neighbor. You keep it in the locker, and they have a good relationship. And so now the friend has to lose sleep over this. Okay. And whereas if they say, okay, watch my motorcycle, I'm going for a week. Okay, watch my motorcycle. You can even ride the motorcycle if you want. Hey, it's great. Life is great. So I'll watch your motorcycle, and I like your motorcycle. I don't have one, so I even take it for a ride. So which one is giving me more insecurity, motorcycle or gold? This question we have to ask, and we don't know. We don't know. It goes up and down, goes up and down, and all our life is spent on this kinds of investments and things like that. Amazing how much time people spend on this. This investing business is just a rat race, and I think people go round and round, and how much time, valuable time, gets wasted in that. And subjective. Gold has buying power. Perfect. Correct. Gold gives people comforts. Perfect. Gold is a rare metal. That is why it is valued like that. Correct. See, America sent a rocket to a planet. Let's say Mars. Okay. And then what happened in Mars? They went, and then there were people like us in Mars. And of course, it was like another Earth, and people were all there, and the life was going on. And then they came back, and you know what they said? They said it is exactly like Earth, our life, our world. But then, and the people are also like us, but they were wearing ornaments made of stone. Everybody. They never wore gold ornaments. In fact, they have a lot of gold. The whole ground is covered by gold. And to get stone, they have to go underneath and then get the stone. How about here in our earth? You have to dig deep in order to get gold. That's why gold is rare. Their stone is rare. And so America, you know what? The American people are very smart. Any opportunity they get, they will use it up. So next rocket mission carries tons of concrete. Tons of concrete. And then what do they get in return? Tons of gold. That's it. This is a gold race. So there also long ago, this gold, what is it called? From Eastern America, they all came to, West, and it's called gold rush and all that. And so this is the next 21st century gold rush, correct? Tell me, which is more valuable, gold or stone? In the Mars, they're going to say stone. In here, they're going to say gold. And so this idea of something giving me more security, even something valuable also, is a bit questionable, and very questionable. That is why this idea, we need to spend some time thinking about it. And diamonds. Gold is a upalakshana, okay? Gold is not literal. And we don't take words of the Shastram literally. Sometimes literally we have to take, sometimes we have to just interpret it in context. And diamond is an example. Diamonds is an amazing story. You all, if you don't know, you should study how diamonds became so sought after. And there is a company called De Beers. Okay, Debeers, De Beers. Okay, and these fellows, they decided one day, we are going to start controlling the supply of diamond and the demand of diamond. And there was a time when they controlled 80 to 90% of the entire supply chain of diamonds. Okay, next. Then what they did? In the 1940s, 1930s, 40s, they came up with the marketing tagline. I think you all know what I'm going to say, right? A diamond is forever. How many of you have heard this phrase? A diamond is forever. Yeah. Who came up with this? Diamond is forever? This company, De Beers, came up with that. Diamond is forever. And then advertisement, this, that, everything. From 1940, their sales was about $23 million. $23 million. Within 40 years, their sales increased 100 times, 100 times, $2.1 billion in 1980. Okay, that's how they built this empire. And even now, that diamond trade is so controlled. It is so controlled. It is not a free market at all. They say free market and all that. There is no free. We have to be careful when we use these words, free markets and freedom and democracy and all. There is no democracy in diamond world. Okay, that is why if you study, anybody who's studying business, they will be told about different types of businesses, and one type of business is called the diamond business, which is called a cartel. Cartel. That's why they use the word drug cartel. Correct? Drug cartel, because no free market there. Okay, free, anybody can buy and sell drugs, like that is not there. It's a cartel controlled by a certain very small group of people. Cartel. So tell me now. So tell me, diamond is valuable. Diamond is all pure carbon. Okay, diamond and charcoal, no difference at all. Both are carbon. That's it. The diamonds are forever, and so it has become a symbol of enduring love, enduring romance, and commitment. They say in America, 70% of the marriages will happen, cannot happen without a diamond ring, for which they pay thousands of dollars. Thousands of dollars. Okay, I'm not saying it's wrong and all that. Don't get me wrong. Do what we have to do what we have to do. Okay, but we have to understand this history. And so it's all pure projection. This is pure projection. Vedanta is saying everything is a projection, and samsara is saying everything is real. And so we have to. It's just so amazing, these stories when you see. And but do we really need to be wise, like jnani, to understand all this? No, we don't have to be. And we may have to go against the tide. So we may have to. I think kids will love to hear these stories. They should be told all these things at a young age. Only then they become empowered. And so they don't get caught up in all these things. They can enjoy their life. They can buy what they want. But nobody will fall prey to these things, correct? Falling prey, that is a problem. You do whatever you have to do, but falling prey. And that's what destroys lives. So here Krishna is saying, Samaloštashma Kanchanaha, and that Kanchana and stone and mud, none of them can give me security. Why none of them can give me security? Well, because everything is changing, everything is mithya, and here today, not there tomorrow, not here tomorrow. That is how every object is. An insecure object cannot make me secure. And I am the one who is nityam. Dehinosmin yatha dehe, dehe sarvasya bharata. And Dehi Nityam Avadhyoyam. Dehi, that Dehi is Nityam and Dehi is Avadhyaha, Avinashi. That I is I, that is Atma, and I am that Atma. May I recognize that. That's what Krishna earlier also said. Here also, same thing. And therefore, you are welcome to invest in gold, but invest in Atma also and keep investing in Atma. Let that investment keep on increasing in time. Correct? That would be a nice life, I think. And so that person is a Jnana Vijnana Triptatma. And then that is why Nasti Akritaha Kriten. That is why that person, Viveki, begins to understand, my goodness, I am the Nityam. I am the one that always was, I am, and I will always be. Atma will always be. I have taken my body to be myself. That is the problem. And so, Nasti Akritaha Kritena, says Mundaka Means what? The security I am seeking is going to be up and down. Okay. But I am the one that the Nitya Atma, Purna Atma, cannot be a result of any effort I make, cannot be a result of karma. That Purnatvam I am seeking cannot be a result. Nasti Akritaha Kritena. Means what? By Atma was not created. Atma always exists. Whatever was, is, and now is Atma. The Atma is never created. And therefore, that uncreated Atma cannot be gained by effort, karma. That is what Mundaka Upanishad says. And therefore, I come to see that fact, and that Viveka Buddhi, using that Viveka Buddhi, using that Jnanam, I study the Shastram and convert that Jnanam to Vijnanam, and then become a Jnana Vijnana Triptatma. Correct? And so Swamiji gives an example here. And he says there is a story about a student, a Shishya of a Guru, who wanted to praise his Guru. Okay? And so what is that? And then he said, look, our Guruji is just, there's so much Vairagyam. He is not attracted to anything. And so that person, that student, put a gold coin under the pillow of the Guruji. And then Guruji went to sleep in the night. But then he could not sleep. He was tossing and turning and tossing and turning. And so the student said, look at our Guruji. Gold affects gold. So he has so much Vairagyam that the gold has done that to him. Okay. If somebody says that, then we have to ask a question here. Okay. Sometimes what happens is students think they are praising their Guruji, but in the process, they are actually insulting their Guruji. Okay. This is the problem. See, because of gold, the Guruji could not sleep. That is the claim the Shishya is making. Why? Because it's a valuable, it's a metal, and he has no attraction to anything because he's pure viragi, And so you put all this, the whole house is full of metal, okay? And precious metals are there, not so precious metals are there, and doorknobs are there, and this is there, that is there, silver is there, and so much metal is there, and nothing has affected him. But you put gold, suddenly it affected the Guru. Secondly, Vairagyam means what? Not being affected by anything is called Vairagyam. Not being affected. So this fellow is affected by gold. That means what? That means the person is not a Vairagya. So here, what we do is, Swamiji says, we have to give the benefit of doubt to the teacher, no doubt. And there might be 100 reasons why the person did not sleep. Okay, we don't know, and we can't attribute that to this gold. And so, problem is with the Shishya, not with the not with the teacher. And so here, absence of ragadvesha. Ragadvesha viyuktaha asti saha. That person is already ragadvesha, unaffected by ragas and dveshas. Therefore, whether you put a big stack of gold bars in front of a person or not, it doesn't matter. What? Can this gold be used properly? That is the idea the person will get. What happened? How did you get all this? That will be the concern. Guru will have a concern. How did you get all this? Did you get it properly or what? Just before demonetization, you did something. You got wind of it. These people, our people are just too good at, they're very smart. What our people all over the world. And so that will be the question Guruji will ask. Not getting carried away by all these things. Therefore, security does not lie outside of oneself. Security is me. Security is not inside me also. Security is me. Okay, look at that. Is inside me. I have to find out where the security is. No finding out. The finder is security. Okay. And so gold here refers to all things in the world, all objects in the world. Upalakshana. It's called a upalakshana. Upalakshana means it symbolizes everything on which we have imputed security on. It includes all the people we are related to. It includes all relationships also. Okay, so we need to spend some time thinking about that. And so, and an insecure person, even gold cannot make the person secure. Correct? Insecure person cannot be made secure by gold. That person who is going to want more, and more. And we see this happening every day, everywhere. And so it's very obvious that security is something that is grossly misunderstood. And Dhanam is very, very, very important. It's amazing. And I think intrinsically, children know that. When we grow up, we know that. But somehow over time, we get carried away by certain things, I feel. And so I think this vision is not difficult to grasp. Samaloshtashma kanchanaha. So let's see the translation of this shloka. One whose mind is content, so Atma here means mind, obviously. One whose mind is content in the knowledge of the self. Comma, who remains unchanged. Comma, who has mastered the sense organs and organs of action. So this indriyani, when the Shastram says, we have to, in some context, bring in all the indriyas, pancha, 5 sense organs and 5 organs of action. Action being hands, legs, etc. Those 5 organs of action. Okay. Then, comma, for whom a clump of earth, comma, a stone, comma, and gold are the same. Comma, this composed person is referred to as a yogi. This composed person is referred to as a yogi. So Anvaya will look like this. Jnana Vijnana Triptatma Kutastaha Vijitendriyaha Samaloshtashma Kanchanaha Yuktaha Yogi Iti Uchyate. Uchyate is the verb in this sentence. Therefore, that comes in the last, in the Anvaya. Okay. Okay, next shloka. Manjula Shivashankar. Okay. Suhrun Mitra. Okay, you will have to unmute yourself.
I did that too.
Suhrun. Okay. No, you're still unmuted. I don't know why.
My Wi-Fi is unstable.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I see. We can hear you though. Even though it says here unmuted, we can hear you. Okay. Suhrun Mitrari.
Suhrun Mitrari
Udasina.
Udasina
Madhyastha.
Madhyastha
Dveshya Bandhushu.
Dveshya Bandhushu
Sadhushvapi cha papeshu.
Sadhushvapi cha papeshu
Samabuddhir vishishyate.
Samabuddhir Vishishyate
Suhrun mitraryudasina.
Suhrun Mitraryudasina
Madhyasthadveshya bandhushu.
Madhyasthadveshya Bandhushu
Sadhushvapi cha papeshu.
Sadhushvapi cha papeshu
Samabuddhir vishishyate.
Samabuddhir Vishishyate.
So here we have to chant it a little differently. This is not the final chant actually. Shankara reminds us that the first line is actually one word. One word. The entire line is one word. Okay. Samasta padam, he reminds us. So he says, we should spell it like this. Suhran mitraryudasina madhyastadveshya bandhushu. You cannot split it. That's what he's saying. So, so here, what happened in 7? What happened? 7 was different situations. So, Shitoshna Sukadukeshu was said. Tata Manapamanayoho. Situations that we experience. Okay. And in 8, what was the situation described? Objects in the world. Various objects are there in this world. Some you say are attractive, some you say are very, very repulsive, some you say are very precious, some you say are useless. Those kinds of things he's talking about. And the wise person's response to all of them is equal in terms of security, equal, not in terms of actual value that may be there in our vyavahara. Okay. Then here he is referring to attitude towards different types of people. Different types of people are described in this one shloka. Okay, so let's look at all those people here. First word is suhrit. Suhrit. So suhrit, mitra, ari, etc. are going to come. We will split it slowly. Okay, suhrit, suhrit, and we saw the word suhrit before. Does anybody recall it? Okay, so I'll remind you. So that is any ideas? At least, did we at least have you heard this word before? In the Bhagavad Gita, have we encountered it before? Okay, so that's where there is a doubt. Okay, a couple of people say yes. Okay, Meera and Narayan. Good. So, first chapter, okay, 27, shloka number 27, if you want to make a note of that. This is a time Arjuna is realizing and he's making a big list. So he's saying Swashuran Suhridas Chaiva. Swasuran Suhridas Chaiva Senayor Ubhayor Api. Hey, in this camp, in my camp and their camp, there are people related to me. There are in-laws, parents-in-laws, and there are sambandhis, and there are children, and there are sons-in-laws also. Sons are there, sons-in-laws, and those people are all there here. And other type of people are what? Suhrudas Chaiva. Suhrudaha, he says. And he says people, Arjuna is making a very important statement there. He says there are people here who are not just fighting because they are angry with me. They are fighting because they don't expect anything in return. And somebody said you are supposed to fight, and therefore they are fighting. They want nothing in return. That person is a suhrut, correct? And they're all going to heaven, this, that, even my duty, all this papam, punyam, nothing. They are doing because it's their duty and then walk away from that. That person is a suhrut. Okay. Arjuna is saying that word. Okay. And then Tan Samiksha Sa Kaunteyaha Sarvan Bandhun Avastita. All my relatives. I see everybody is related. Some people are very good. They try to find out relationships. Oh, you are my grandfather's cousins and grandchild. Like that they will say. And you have to connect all these things. And so this Arjuna has done that. Sarvan Bandhun. All my relatives are here in war. And my side also, their side also. And they're all going to perish. Okay, this is his concern. And the next shloka onwards, kripaya vishtaha, and that Arjuna who became compassionate, who got consumed by compassion, couldn't lift his bow. Okay, that is how the story goes. That is where we saw Suhrit. And then we also saw Suhrit in chapter 3. Where chapter 3 shloka number? Chapter 5. I've made a note here. 5.29. Okay, just recently we've covered that. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhradam sarvabhutanam nyatva mam shanti mrichyati. There Krishna uses the word. The one who knows me. Okay, in this way. So you bhoktaram yajna tapasam, the one who is who is the one who makes all this yajna and tapas possible, and the one who is a suhrit. He calls himself as a suhrit. Atma is suhrit. What is the meaning of suhrit? One who is a friend, but more than a friend. Next word, Suhran, Mitra. The Mitra refers to friend. Okay, Mitra is friend. Mera Mitra hai. Mitra is friend. And friends are important. Friends are there to help us, no doubt. But then you return from the temple, and then the friend can say, "What? You did not call me when you before you went to the temple?" Can get angry, correct? Can get upset. Okay, but Suhrid will not get upset. Friend may have many reasons. Last 3 times he called you to the temple, you did not come. So he thought you were not interested in coming to the temple, as simple as that. And now you may have other reasons also, we don't know. So that's a mitra. Okay, but here Suhrit. Okay, not expecting anything in return. Okay, that person. And so this Atma in that 29 shloka, 5th chapter, Krishna refers to himself, Atma as Suhrit. Atma is always there, poor thing, constantly there. He doesn't demand anything at all. Whatever you want to do, it goes along with you. You are the boss, he says. Keep doing what you want. You are the boss. And so that Atma is referred to as a Suhrit. And yet, without Atma, we can't survive. Therefore, that Atma is a benefactor. And so there, in that shloka number 29 of 5th chapter, we saw that. So just a reminder to you. Okay, so we saw Suhrit, we saw Mitra. Then what is the third word? Ari. Ari. Small word. These are all small words. Okay. Ari is the third word. Okay. So there is a sandhi and all that happens. So Ari becomes Ari, and then Uda, Ari and Uda combine and become this Yakara comes there. Okay. So Ari. Ari, I think we know Ari means Shatruhu. Shatruhu means enemy. Enemy means what? Somebody who will not do good to me. Somebody who can create damage for me somehow or the other. Okay, that person is a Shatru. It's an Ari. And it can be just somebody who is jealous of me also, jealous of us, and that is enough. And that jealousy will make the person do things that are not good for himself and for us also. So that also is there. And enmity at the national level, enmity at the level of, wanting to destroy the person and this and that. All these things, anything is possible. So that Ari covers everybody, including, they say Hindus are the enemy. Hindus are the enemy. Enemy to whom? Some religions say that these people are our enemies. They don't say, their scripture says that. Okay, very important. We have to know all these things. We have to know all these things. If we have to lead a proper life and life of dharma, we have to stop blaming ourselves and then know what is going on out there. Okay, and so for those people, we are all enemies. Correct? Why? Because Shastram, their Shastram says so, enemy. That is why Vivekananda says in 120 years back, he said, one Hindu converted is one enemy gained. Look at this. Swamiji, courage, what a statement he made. Correct? And that is why he says this. Okay. So enemy, Ari. So just by being somebody, you can be an enemy. And so without your knowing also. And so that person is an enemy. Okay, that's enough for enemy. Then he is using Udasinaha. Udasina. Udasina and Madhyastha. Two words are there next to each other. Udasina and then Madhyastha. Okay, we're going to look at that. Udasina means somebody, I think you all know Udasina. So at least in some languages, there's a literal meaning of that word is used in the common parlance also. So Udasina means somebody who's neutral, indifferent to you. Okay, indifferent. Got married. Okay, got married. So congratulations, kuch na kuch bolo yaar. No, you got married. Good. God bless you. Okay, and not married, decided not to marry. Then also, okay. Neutral, very neutral. And so no response at all from that person. That person is called a Udasina. And then, but Madhyastha is there. Madhyastha, Madhya Tishtati iti Madhyastha. One who is in between. That person is a Madhyastha. Means when two people are quarreling, and this person is the ideal interlocutor. Okay, because the person is interested in the well-being of both people. He's not trying to run away or anything. Person says he's good at. He's good at making arguments, and that's why all these out-of-court settlements, right? For doing an out-of-court settlement, you need a very good madhyastha. Correct? You need a madhyastha who's not biased by anything, who is not partial to anybody, but yet wants to resolve conflicts. Okay, and Swamiji used to say that Switzerland is a country where, how many of you have seen Switzerland in the news in the last 1 year? In the last 1 year, Switzerland in the news. I have not seen Switzerland in the news. Okay, why have you seen Switzerland in the news in any number of years? Last X years. We don't see. Except when Indians talk about Swiss accounts. That is the only time we hear about Switzerland. And they always say Swiss. And we have to ask, how come people have put all their savings and black and white in Switzerland? They can't say, keep the money here or what? And that's because they trust Switzerland. Madhyasthas are always trustworthy. Otherwise, they can't be a Madhyastha. And so it looks like some country somewhere, we don't know, and you put all this money in Switzerland. So there must be some background behind that. And so I don't know. We need to look into that. And so Madhyastha, that's a Madhyastha, somebody who earns the trust of everybody else and will not take sides. Okay. And Switzerland has always been like that. I have to imagine Switzerland will not have an army also, I think. I have to imagine. I have not looked into it, but if you can confirm. So they won't have an army, because army for what? To protect yourself may be there, but if Europe is there and somebody will protect me, what is there, right? So the armies are always, American army is there everywhere anyway. And so American bases are not far away. So that person is called a Madhyastaha. Madhyastaha. And then he's going to talk about 4 more people, types of people. We'll look into that in the next class. So we saw what? Suhrid. Suhrid, Mitra. Suhrid means one who who helps others without expecting anything in return. Mitra means friend. Ari means enemy. And then Udasina, one who is different, indifferent, and then or neutral, and Madhyastha. Madhyastha means one who is in the middle, means does not take sides but is willing to help. That person is a Madhyastha. So let's continue this discussion in the next class. He's going to talk about Dveshyaha, Bandhu, Sadhu, Papi. Okay, 4 more people he's going to talk. We'll discuss it. Okay. Om Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Go Brahmanebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyah Prithvi Sasya Shalini Desho Yam Shobharahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityor Ma Amritangamaya Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om